The most gothic and darkest girl in history, Wednesday, strikes. She only accepts pure black horror themes for birthday cakes. She doesn't like parties and only likes violent games. Blood and killing are the stimulants to wake her up. The girl's name is Wednesday Addams. When such a girl is transferred to a strange academy, where she associates with vampires, werewolves, and sea monsters, what strange things will happen? The story begins with a school transfer. Wednesday opened the school cabinet, and the younger brother who was tied up fell out. When she knelt down to touch her brother's hands, the scene of her brother being bullied flashed in her mind. Wednesday didn't know when she had been able to glimpse this strange hallucination. But she intends to put this gifted ability to good use. When Wednesday walked to the pool, she said that only she could bully her brother, and then threw 2 bags of piranhas into the pool. The piranhas with sharp teeth chased after them and gnawed off the key parts of the person who bullied her brother. But Wednesday was also expelled because of this incident, and the Addams couple had to transfer her to the famous Nevermore College. This is also her mother Morticia's alma mater. But Wednesday didn't want to go at all. Wednesday's resume can be said to be full of bad marks. She changed schools 8 times in 5 years. Fortunately, Morticia and the principal were former roommates, so she reluctantly accepted Wednesday. She was assigned to the room where her mother had lived. The roommate is the gorgeous Enid, but Wednesday hates colors other than black and white. She was nonchalant, but Enid still enthusiastically showed her around the school. Nevermore College is full of heterogeneous groups, the most important of which are 4 small groups: vampires, werewolves, sirens, and stone men. Enid belongs to the family of werewolves. Soon Wednesday's family said goodbye to their daughter. Her father, Gomes Addams, left a severed hand named Thing to keep an eye on her. In this way, the campus life on Wednesday began. At night she divides the dormitory in 2 and forbids Enid from crossing the line. Then she started a fixed writing time every day. This is to keep her mind clear and organized. The teacher came to explain the rules. Turn off the lights at 10 o'clock, and prohibit boys from entering and leaving. They can only go to town if they are privileged. At the same time, 2 sheriffs found a torn body in the forest outside the school. The case is strikingly similar to 2 cases that occurred last week. They suspect it was done by people from Nevermore College, but they haven't found evidence yet. The next day, Wednesday went to fencing lessons. Her mother had been the strongest fencer here. Now Bianca the Siren is the queen of fencing. On Wednesday, directly challenged the opponent. The 2 immediately began to compete. After several rounds, they were still unable to decide the outcome. On Wednesday, it was suggested to remove the protective gear, and the loser is the one who bleeds. In their real competition, they used all their moves to do their best. While Bianca won, she hurt Wednesday's forehead. This made Wednesday extremely irritable, and she hated the place even more. Thing, the severed hand, has been spying on Wednesday. When Wednesday left the infirmary, she didn't go far when she encountered the stone statue upstairs loose. Luckily Xavier threw her down, but she had to go back to the infirmary. Wednesday didn't thank Xavier. She'd rather get hit by a stone statue herself. The rare Xavier didn't mind at all. It turned out that Xavier was saved by Wednesday when he was a child. After his reminder, Wednesday remembered. Back in the dormitory, she continued to write novels, and accidentally noticed that the quilt was stirring. She rushed over and lifted the quilt, and grabbed Thing, who was about to run away. Wednesday said that she had already smelled the familiar hand cream, so she played hide and seek with him all day. It's time to expose him. She gave the severed hand 2 choices. First, lock him in the cabinet and prevent him from coming out, and second, make him swear to be loyal to herself forever. The broken hand immediately chose to pledge allegiance to Wednesday. And Wednesday's next priority is to escape from this juvenile prison. She went to town to see a psychiatrist the next day, which was court punishment for Wednesday hurting a classmate. And Wednesday took advantage of the opportunity to go to the bathroom to pry open the window to reach the roof, and then escaped along the pipe. Unexpectedly, she ran into a man as soon as she landed. And the image of this man in a car accident instantly appeared in her mind. But Wednesday didn't mean to save the man. Instead, she walks into a coffee shop as Tyler, the clerk, frets over a malfunctioning machine. Wednesday can fix it for him, on condition that the clerk must call him a taxi. The clerk told Wednesday that there was only trains in this town. In return for repairing the machine, the clerk agreed to take her to the station. But only after he gets off work. Wednesday originally wanted to pay him to skip work, but the clerk was very principled. She had to sit by and wait. At this moment several pilgrims entered the store. And they ordered Wednesday to give up their special seats. Seeing this, the clerk came to the rescue, but Wednesday told him not to intervene. She just used these people to exercise her muscles. She effortlessly knocked the person across from her to the ground. Then a swing leg knocked the tall man down. That's when the clerk's sheriff dad walked in. The principal also came after hearing the news, and she wanted to take Wednesday back to school. Unexpectedly, she was stopped by the sheriff. The sheriff and Wednesday's dad are old acquaintances. After he knew that Wednesday was from the Addams family, he warned Wednesday not to cause trouble casually. Then the principal took Wednesday away. On the way, they saw the scene of the car accident. And the driver was the man who knocked down Wednesday. This proves once again that she can see the future through fantasy. Because the escape plan failed on Wednesday, Thing was sent to find Tyler. The walking hand almost scared Tyler to death, and Tyler beat him with a stick. And Thing grabbed the stick, and then showed the number on his palm to leave a message. Tyler was instructed to make a video call to Wednesday. She confessed her escape plan, and she planned to use the weekend's Harvest Festival to escape. She hoped Tyler would walk her to the station then. Tyler readily agreed, because he knew the town was suffocating. Soon it will be the Harvest Festival weekend. She tipped the stall owner to get the headmaster's attention. Then Wednesday successfully reunited with Tyler. Tyler not only helped her escape, but also gave Wednesday the file of Wednesday's dad. He tried to figure out why the police hated Wednesday's dad. The two were about to get in the car and leave. But they encountered the pilgrim who was finding fault that day. Tyler didn't want to cause trouble and ran away with Wednesday. On the way, she ran into a classmate named Luo Wen. Wednesday immediately sensed that Rowan's life was in danger and decided to save him first. Wednesday followed Rowan all the way to the woods. She reminds Rowan that he will be in danger now. But Rowan throws her into a tree. And the stone statue was also designed by him on purpose. Rowan took out a piece of paper and said he saw Wednesday in the book of the Prophet Mother. He thinks Wednesday will hurt the school, so wanted to kill Wednesday. Unexpectedly, a monster grabbed Rowan in the next second, knocked him to the ground, and pulled out Rowan's internal organs. This is the same hallucination seen by Wednesday. Because of this episode her escape plan failed. Looking through her father's file, she found that her father was probably a murderer. Everything became interesting, and she didn't want to leave here for the time being. Police began to intervene the next day, but they did not find any bodies throughout the night. The sheriff took Wednesday's words seriously. This may be related to the successive murders in the town. Unexpectedly, it didn't take long for Rowan to appear. He didn't have a single scar on his body. Therefore, the principal extended Wednesday's psychological treatment time in an attempt to correct her lying behavior. Leaving the counseling room, Wednesday met Taylor head-on. He heard what happened last night, and he believed Wednesday was not lying. Wednesday can't handle this kind of unconditional trust. She turned and went back to school to find Enid. This gossip girl must know Rowan. Enid said Rowan is a loner. You can find out from his roommate Xavier. Wednesday, however, went straight to the principal, who demanded to speak to Rowan face to face. The principal said Rowan had been expelled. The principal asked Wednesday what happened last night. She guessed that Wednesday could see visions, just like her mother did back then. The headmaster suggested her to talk to Mother. Then it was ordered that Wednesday must choose a club to join. After Wednesday went out, she found Thing and asked him to keep an eye on Rowan. Then she went to Bianca, who saw her fainted last night. Bianca said that she did not call the police. After seeing Wednesday fainted, she went to the principal. She didn't see Rowan either. Wednesday had to go to Xavier, but Xavier did not provide useful information. He just said that Rowan has been weird in recent weeks. On the other side, Thing followed Rowan to the station. But Thing's speed was too slow. He only saw Rowan walk into the bathroom, and a middle-aged man came out. Thing walked into the bathroom and saw that it was empty. And the man returned to his principal appearance after walking down the stairs. Thing lost the clue and immediately went back to report to Wednesday. As a result, he was criticized by Wednesday. And he felt very wronged. Wednesday didn't notice his little emotions, but immediately went to Enid for help. She is going to investigate the crime scene this afternoon. But she must join the club as required by the principal. Wednesday asked Enid to replace her. Enid asked Wednesday to apologize to Thing. And Enid learned that he was having a tantrum when she was doing manicures for Thing just now. Only by apologizing to Thing on Wednesday will she help to go to the club instead of her. On Wednesday, I found Thing, who was reading a magazine, and she began to apologize and beg for peace, which was not sincere at all. Thing didn't accept the insincere apology. Wednesday had no choice but to sit on the bed and confess what happened last night and the prophecy that Rowan said. Thing then patted Wednesday's hand to express forgiveness. And Enid fulfilled her promise to go to the club that Wednesday explained. Unexpectedly, Wednesday did not take an unusual path. She actually joined the beekeeping society. Wednesday arranged everything and went back to the woods, but was caught by someone. It turned out to be an old acquaintance, Taylor, whose father was on patrol with his hounds. Tyler didn't want to be found on Wednesday, saying he had coffee grounds on him to mask the smell. The two searched the woods together. Wednesday saw Rowan's glasses. She bent over to touch the lenses and saw Rowan and Xavier arguing. And that prophesied page seems to belong to a book called Night Shadow Society. Went back to the school library on Wednesday and tried to find the purple book. At this time, the teacher came over to inquire about the situation, and Wednesday showed the pattern on the page. The teacher said that it was the emblem of the Yang Club, which had been disbanded a few years ago. Waiting for night to fall, Wednesday slipped into the Rowan dormitory. She wants to find the purple book, but accidentally saw Xavier painted her portrait. Wednesday didn't stop, she went on searching. Soon she found a hidden compartment under the bed, which contained a mask. At this moment someone knocked on the door. Xavier came out of the bathroom and opened the door. It was Bianca who came, and the two of them used to be lovers. Bianca sees that her ex-boyfriend likes Wednesday. She deliberately let out cruel words, and tomorrow she will bully Enid at the boat race, and make Wednesday's roommate break down. Went back to the dorm on Wednesday to find Enid crying because her vampire teammate accidentally ate garlic and couldn't participate in tomorrow's game. Wednesday said she would like to join the fleet. She's going to teach Bianca a lesson. Let her taste failure. The next day the game was held as scheduled. Each team must row to the Isle of Crows and pull the flag from the Crystone Crypt. The first team to return to the finish line with the flag wins. At the sound of gunfire, everyone set off immediately. Bianca had already planted helpers on the shore. He took off his clothes and jumped into the water, exposing the tail of the fish and swimming towards the hull. The wizards also flipped the switch, attacking Wednesday's black cats with an axe. But soon they were unable to protect themselves. The underwater kraken grabs the wizards by the bottom of their boat and pushes them over the obstacle, successfully shooting them down. Wednesday took out the binoculars and found an anomaly. She commanded Thing to move out, and saw the Black Cat team's hull shooting out fishing nets and encircling the siren. Then Wednesday's team landed behind the Jokers. Wednesday had roommates guard the boat to make sure it wasn't damaged by Bianca. She then rushed into the woods looking for the flag. Enid is also very good. She sent Thing to distract the clown guarding the boat. Then stretch out the wolf claws and tear the bottom of the boat. The other half rushed to the destination first on Wednesday. And she grabbed the Black Cat's flag. As a result, she fainted on the ground in the next second. A person who looked very similar to Wednesday appeared. And this person left a sentence saying that you are the key, and then disappeared. Wednesday awoke from her reverie at this time, and she took the flag and flew back to the shore. But the other two teams have already departed. Fortunately, the clown's boat was caught and broken. They hadn't rowed far before they leaked. The Black Cat quickly dodges the clown. Wednesday flipped the switch to reveal the spikes. She was just about to get close to the Gold Beetle team, but unexpectedly, the Kraken chased after him again. Holding the Black Cat team tightly with his hands, Thing felt strange and slipped into the water. He swam up to the Kraken and punched him. And the Black Cats got out of the way and approached the enemy ship. They used their spikes to damage the hull of the Scarabs and claim victory. The principal presented the trophy to Enid, but Wednesday walked to the corner and sighed in relief. She accidentally saw the pattern of Yang society on the statue. But Enid brought her back to reality. The principal came over and said that Wednesday was just like her mother. But Wednesday didn't take it seriously. In the evening, Wednesday went to observe by the statue. Using the book in the hands of the same person, she cracked the code by snapping her fingers twice. Wednesday immediately snapped her 2 fingers, the statue moved immediately, and a secret room appeared. Wednesday went down with a flashlight, and on the floor was the emblem of the Yang Club. This should be the secret stronghold of the old society. And pictures of Wednesday's parents hang on the wall. She went to the bookshelf and found that there was no dust in one place. She pulled out the book, and it turned out to be the one that Rowan tore up. She was about to leave with the book, but was covered with a cloth bag. When the cloth bag on her head was opened, several masked people asked who was the intruder. Wednesday debunked her saying, "Bianca, you can take off your mask." It turned out that these were just a few students. On Wednesday, Xavier was handed over. She took out the piece of paper in her pocket and said that she just followed the club emblem of the Night Shadow Club into the secret room. Bianca said that the Night Shadow Club is an elite club. It was closed 30 years ago because of a death. They restarted the society, but ordinary people are not allowed to join. Rowan was kicked out last term. At this point Wednesday interrupted Bianca, who said she didn't want to join at all. And she had untied the rope 5 minutes ago, grabbed the paper on Wednesday, and left openly. She went back to the dormitory to put the painting together. She found that there was also a pilgrim in the painting. The next day she came to the location on the painting. The principal is holding a meeting here and today is outreach day. The trainees will perform at the inauguration ceremony of the memorial statue. Enid was sorted into Pilgrim's World. And Wednesday was sorted into Uriah's shop, a weird antique shop. At this time, the principal came over to talk to her. She knew that Wednesday would play the cello. So she asked Wednesday to perform in the town. Then everyone came to the town on the school bus. She saw Xavier staring at the wall in a daze. She walked over and asked. Xavier said that the wall was not white last year. Wednesday pulled out the purple book and asked Xavier if he had seen it. In fact, a few days before the Harvest Festival, Xavier found the book on Rowan's desk. He thought that Rowan had stolen something from the club, so when he asked Rowan to question, the two had a quarrel. Like the fantasy scene on Wednesday. Xavier said the book was about 30 years old. He didn't understand why Wednesday and Joseph were in the book. Xavier actually knew the identity of the pilgrims. Jesper, the founder of the town, is a veritable mogul. She immediately went to her roommate to exchange tasks. She wants to stay in Pilgrim World to investigate. At first Enid didn't want to exchange. But Wednesday said her man was at an antique shop, and Enid immediately agreed. She made it into the Pilgrim World without a hitch. Arlene was in charge of receiving everyone, and asked everyone to turn their mobile phones to vibrate at the beginning. Wednesday asked where the exhibition area for the item was. She wants to do service there. But Arlene said that exhibition area is temporarily closed. Today everyone has to stay in the core area to work. The students changed into their uniforms as required, and held fudge for tourists to try. Eugene was stealing food and was seen by some pilgrims. They were about to laugh at Eugene when they got spat all over. The leader got angry and immediately grabbed Eugene and beat him. Wednesday reached out to stop them, and it turned out to be the guys from the coffee shop. Let's take revenge together. Trip each other up on Wednesday. The man got up to fight back, but his fingers were caught by Wednesday. Wednesday put his head and neck under the guillotine, and his accomplices left quickly in fear of causing trouble. Eugene reminded Wednesday of his cowardly brother. Wednesday led Eugene to the closed exhibition hall, and she unlocked the door with braces. Arranged for Eugene to keep watch. She goes in alone looking for clues. She also asks Thing to help, and Thing points to a painting. The girl in the painting was the one she had seen in the woods. The girl was holding a black book in one hand, and that book was also on the side of the exhibition hall. Opened it right away on Wednesday, only to find out it was just a sample. Then Arlene brought Eugene to find Wednesday to settle accounts. Where is the original copy of Wednesday's book? And Arlene said that the book was stolen last month. She went to Tyler for news. She learned of Cobham Forest, the site of the clubhouse. It is now in ruins. Then she came here and it was really deserted. She was feeling disappointed when a strange old man appeared behind her. He told Wednesday to get off his turf. Thing immediately climbed to grab the strange old man's neck, and he was scared away by this. Wednesday tried to touch various places, but did not activate any fantasies. It wasn't until she wanted to push the door to leave that she returned to the old gathering many years ago. Dozens of pilgrims surrounded the girl in the painting, who they said would burn her to death. The girl was pushed around by everyone, and she fell to the ground in embarrassment. The mayor Joseph also came over to discuss how to burn the girl to death. She learned from her mouth that the girl's name is Goody Addams, and she has the same family name as Wednesday. Goody condemned the mayor in outrage. She said that the mayor brutally killed the aliens, so he deserved to be burned. After speaking, she stood up and scratched the mayor. The mayor was furious and locked her in the room. There are also many different people in the room, and everyone is chained. The mayor ordered the fire to be set and everyone in the house burned to death. Goody's mother told her daughter to run, and let her run out to find other clansmen to avenge the dead. The girl had no choice but to get into the secret passage and escape. Wednesday followed her through the thick fog. When the mayor chased after her and said, "You can't escape," and then Wednesday was awakened. She guessed that Goody was an ancestor 400 years ago. At this time, A strange sound came from outside the wooden door, and Wednesday thought it was the strange old man just now. But she saw a monster manifest. She went out to observe the footprints, only to find that they were human footprints. And it was Xavier who followed up. He said that he just sent a message to Rowan on purpose and found an abnormality. So he started to believe what Wednesday said. The two returned to the inauguration ceremony. Wednesday's poker-faced cello, the current mayor bragging about Joseph's deeds. And Thing lit the match to burn the fuse, and the statue of Joseph was blown up in an instant, in retaliation for his evil deed of massacring aliens. Wednesday played the cello calmly with a smile on her face, and the principal kept her eyes on her. After returning to school, she immediately asked Wednesday for interrogation. Wednesday said she didn't do it. Not bad. Because the arsonist was Thing. Wednesday questioned the principal in turn, saying that she must know that Joseph tortured and killed aliens. The principal said we should not dwell on the past. On the other hand, the strange old man returned to the old site. He sat on the ground and studied the camera he picked up. He was instantly torn to death by the monster. Then the sheriff's men arrived and she found the camera on the ground. The sheriff rushed to develop the photo. The face of the monster gradually appeared. Hearing the news, Wednesday immediately brought Thing to the autopsy room. The strange old man's body was quickly found by Wednesday, and Thing went to copy the documents. The deceased had many scratches and his left foot disappeared. Thing running over in a hurry, and he notified the sheriff is coming. Wednesday hurriedly restored the body to its original state and hid in a dark place. The forensic led the sheriff to the freezer, where the dead man's feet were soaking. The murderer took away 2 toes of the deceased. This is very strange. The sheriff asked the forensic to give him the autopsy report as soon as possible. After the sheriff left, the forensic doctor found that a cabinet was not closed. He opened it and saw that it was Wednesday lying in it. Due to Wednesday's long-term stern face, the forensic doctor did not notice any abnormalities. Thing immediately went to save Wednesday. Wednesday said she wanted to lie down for another 3 minutes. Reflecting on the photocopies the next day, Wednesday found that all the victims were missing some body part. This means the murderer is collecting loot. All the way to carnivorous plants class. She was still thinking about it. She accidentally saw a wound on Xavier's body. In order to investigate the matter, Wednesday immediately began to follow Xavier. Xavier sneaked out of an abandoned room. As soon as he left the house, Wednesday walked in immediately. It is full of monster portraits. It seems that this artist has a different Zeus. Wednesday stole a few paintings and prepared to leave, but met Xavier, who returned. Wednesday made an excuse to come to him and ask Xavier to take her in for a visit. Xavier said no. Asked what she was looking for. Wednesday didn't know how to explain it for a while, so she said that he was invited to be his dance partner. She can also take this opportunity to investigate Xavier. Xavier readily agreed. Enid heard that she was going to the prom, and immediately dragged Wednesday to buy clothes. Wednesday hated dressing up. She turned around and left immediately. And Thing immediately pointed to a shop. There was a very gothic dress in the store. Wednesday put it in mind. Then she went to the sheriff to talk about cooperation. She handed Xavier's drawing to the sheriff. The sheriff asked her to exchange information for more leads. Wednesday met Tyler just out of the house. Taylor was inquiring about the prom, and he was particularly upset when he heard that Wednesday had invited Xavier as a dance partner. The two had a very unpleasant quarrel. Wednesday heads to the Hive, where she has moved her research base. Because Enid didn't dare to look at the victim's photo, Eugene decided that the circles in the drawing looked familiar. He took Wednesday to a cave, which indeed resembled the circle in the painting. The two immediately went in to explore, and there were many animal bones on the ground. There was also a pair of handcuffs hanging on the wall. Wednesday found a nail on the ground. She is going to Xavier's secret studio right away, and she is going to collect DNA for comparison. As she was rummaging, Xavier pushed open the door and entered. Wednesday simply asked what the paintings were about. Xavier said he's been dreaming about monsters lately. So draw the monster to express emotions. While he was painting the current work, the monster in the painting reached out and scratched him. This is a special skill that Xavier possesses. And he can make what he draws come alive. It's just that he lost control while drawing the monster this time. Wednesday immediately took out the drawing with the circle. She couldn't believe that Xavier could still dream about the location of the black hole. Only then did Xavier realize that Wednesday had been here. The so-called invitation of her dance partner also has other plans. Xavier was heartbroken. He kicked Wednesday out of the studio. But Wednesday took away the bandage Xavier used to treat the wound. She gave blood samples and fingernails to the sheriff. Wednesday decided not to go to the dance anymore. She goes on a date night with Eugene, who has no date, to spy on the cave. And Xavier and Bianca temporarily reconciled. Thing on the other side decided to help Wednesday. He wrote to invite Tyler to the prom on Wednesday's behalf. Tyler was really happy. As soon as his time came, he went to find Wednesday. Wednesday immediately guessed that it was designed by Thing, so she could only bite the bullet and go back to the room to change clothes. Thing also helped her get the dress ready. Tyler was pleasantly surprised to see Wednesday in a dress. Her plan with Eugene fell apart. Wednesday told him not to go it alone. Tomorrow they will go to the cave together again. Then Wednesday went onto the dance floor with Tyler, much to Xavier's heart. He then told Wednesday a story of the past. It turned out that the white wall that Xavier was staring at that day was evidence that Tyler and others had destroyed his mural. Not only that, but Tyler and other friends attacked him. When confronted on Wednesday, Tyler confessed to having a rebellious past. Then the two hit the dance floor and danced together. Wednesday danced like a madman. She jumped more and more weirdly. But Tyler wasn't surprised at all. Xavier was pissed off. And the pilgrims are plotting. They turned on the sprinklers at the dance floor, then slipped inside and turned on the fire alarm. Numerous blood-red liquids were sprayed towards everyone. Everyone ran away in fright. Only Wednesday was fun. She looked up at the sprinkler, and she sensed immediately that Eugene was in danger. It turned out that Eugene didn't listen to Wednesday's suggestion and went to the cave to monitor alone. Then he finds out that someone is trying to blow up the cave. Eugene was discovered. Wednesday immediately rushed over to rescue him. Eunan was running away in the woods when he tripped over a stone and dropped his glasses. The monster rushed to attack him. Wednesday heard the sound and came. She saw the injured Eugene on the ground. The teacher worried that Wednesday would follow. Luckily Eugene didn't die, but he had to be hospitalized. The school ushered in the annual parent meeting. Wednesday couldn't help but think of her father's murder case. At a prom 32 years ago, a student fell to his death. His father, Gomez, was standing upstairs. He still had a long sword in his hand. The principal at the time reported the situation to the police as an eyewitness. She also pointed out that the deceased and Gomez were competing for Wednesday's mother, Morticia. Now they've all learned how grown-ups pretend and lie. They say nothing about the past. Wednesday immediately revealed that she knew she was being watched by Thing. Everyone is busy with parents. Xavier and Bianca have no such worries. Their parents never showed up. But this year was a little different. Bianca's mother Gabrielle showed up. In fact, the Kraken also has secrets. Her real name is not Bianca. She came to school here to avoid the cult that her mother joined. Her mother's siren powers are failing. and she needs Bianca back to help. If Bianca disagrees, she will expose her daughter as not belonging to high society at all. Bianca bought herself a school year. Go back and help when the semester is over. On the other hand, the principal told the Addams that Wednesday was not trying to fit in on campus. They must attend counseling with Wednesday. The sheriff happened to see Gomez and was about to trouble him when he got a call. The forensic doctor broke his own head. The sheriff hurried over. The medical examiner died in the morgue. The surveillance was covered by a black bubble gum. This is actually covered by Wednesday when investigating the strange old man. The forensic doctor is looking forward to retirement travel. He had no reason to kill himself. He left a suicide note. He said it was because of guilt over an old case. He was referring to the case in which Wednesday's father was suspected of being the murderer. The sheriff finally got a hold of Gomez. Counseling for the Addams family is ongoing. Wednesday took the opportunity to question his father about the murder that year. So the family broke up in a quarrel. Wednesday immediately went to visit Eugene in the hospital, and she saw Eugene's mother when she left. As soon as she came downstairs, she saw her mother walking into the cemetery with flowers. Mrs. Addams tore the roses and scattered them on Garrett's grave. Garrett was the deceased who fell from the building. What happened that year? By the time the parents got together for dinner in the afternoon, the sheriff came in and arrested Gomez. Wednesday went to visit Dad to try to get the truth. Gomez said Garrett was her wife's suitor. He has been following her wife pervertedly. But no one dared to intervene because of his prominent family background. Garrett is jealous that Gomez has Morticia's heart. He stabbed Gomez with a sword at the ball. The two fought on the roof. The accident happened when Gomez picked up Garrett's dropped sword and stabbed Garrett in self-defense. Although the story was flawless, Wednesday could tell from the way Dad brushed his beard that he was lying. But she doesn't think her father killed anyone. She immediately went to the sheriff to argue. The sheriff said their DNA did not match. Let Wednesday stand aside and say Gomez has pleaded guilty. The consequences of Garrett's death were severe. His mother committed suicide because of it, and his father died of alcoholism. His sister also drowned after being orphaned. The sheriff has been trying to arrest Gomez for more than 30 years. Wednesday had to go to her mother for help. Mom is actually in the Night Shadow Club. Mom said it was created by Goody. Here she grows secretly. Mom decides to tell her daughter the truth about the prom. She saw the two fighting that day, and Garrett was foaming at the mouth and looking crazy. Then she couldn't take it anymore and killed Garrett. Wednesday immediately interrupting Mom. She thought maybe Garrett had died from nightshade poisoning. In order to verify her inference, she took her mother to the grave for an autopsy. Unexpectedly, they were arrested by the police. Fortunately, Wednesday hid a finger of the deceased. Garrett's soft tissue was intact but bluish. This is a clear symptom of poisoning. Even if her mother didn't kill him, he would die soon. Wednesday tried to put his fingers away, but the hallucination was triggered. Garrett's father forced him to poison the ball to kill all the aliens. Unexpectedly, Garrett accidentally broke the poison bottle during the fight, and nightshade toxin immediately penetrated his body. They talked to the mayor after they were released on bail. The mayor was in charge of the case 30 years ago. He was bought by Garrett's father. So he deliberately concealed the truth. Now Wednesday found the hard evidence, and he had to release Gomez. After a thrilling parent-teacher meeting, the Addams said goodbye to their daughter, and her mother gave her a yearbook before leaving. When Wednesday took it over and took a look, she instantly understood the truth. She immediately went to ask the principal why she pretended to be Rowan. It turned out that Wednesday learned from the yearbook that the principal is good at imitating. And she can almost match the real one. She is a shapeshifter. But the principal said Rowan's father knew the truth and it was his father who kept the police department from getting involved. Because Rowan was extremely out of control some time before his death. He didn't want outsiders to know such a scandal. At this time, there was a noise outside the window. Someone spelled the message that the fire is coming with fire. In order to better investigate the case, Wednesday began to convene the soul meeting. She wanted to call Goody out for a chat. But she didn't make it. But she received an anonymous letter. Someone asked her to meet in Crackstone's crypt at midnight. Enid decided to go with Wednesday. She was outside on guard for Wednesday. Wednesday went in to find someone. She didn't expect it to be a surprise party. Friends wish her a happy 16th birthday. Wednesday's not interested in partying. She found a passage in Latin on the stone wall. The content is also the same as on the ground. The fire is coming. Wednesday gently stroked the lettering and she immediately activated the fantasy. Goody asked Wednesday to find a building to stop the disaster. She also had to learn to control her precognition as soon as possible. After returning to the dormitory, she drew the building. Thing went under the bed to pull out the Addams birthday present, 2 dead squirrels and a dissection kit. Enid also gave her a hand-woven scarf. Even though Wednesday wants to maintain her ruthless persona, she still feels sorry for Eugene. She went to apologize to Eugene. She ran into a psychology teacher who came to visit with flowers. Wednesday didn't want to expose the human side. She left the ward quickly. This flower seems to imply something. Wednesday went to Tyler with the painted buildings. Tyler didn't know either. She had to go to Xavier. Unexpectedly, Xavier also dreamed of the same scene. And this building is Garrett's old house during his lifetime. On the other side, the current mayor calls out Garrett's sister's death certificate and asks the assistant to pay attention to the sudden lighting of the deceased's old house. In the afternoon she arrived at Garrett's old house. As soon as she approached the door, she noticed someone. It turned out to be the current mayor. The mayor went to the side of the road to make a phone call. He told the sheriff he had a lead. Wednesday lets Thing divert the mayor's attention. She immediately hid in the mayor's car. The mayor arrives at the cafe shortly after. An accident happened when the mayor was crossing the road. She immediately went to check. Fortunately, the mayor is not dead. Then she took a statement in a coffee shop. She started telling the truth about Garrett's old house. After returning to school, the principal lost her temper. She even ordered the entire campus to be locked down to avoid further trouble on Wednesday. The botany teacher also came to comfort her. She was not welcome on Wednesday though. She couldn't give up on the investigation. She immediately contacts Tyler and asks him to come to school at 8. She then lied to Enid that she was going off campus to prepare a birthday party. But now there is a ban on her and she cannot go out. Enid believed her, because tonight is a full moon night, she can leave the school under the guise of a werewolf. The two got into Tyler's car and drove off. Xavier went to the dormitory to look for Wednesday. He only saw Thing. The three have arrived at the old house. Wednesday walked to the garage first. The garage door was locked. Enid forcefully unlocked the door with ease. The car inside was the one that hit the mayor. The three continued to search. The interior is dilapidated. Obviously it has been abandoned for many years. When Wednesday walked to the bookshelves, she found that the patterns on the pillars were not dusty. She reached out and pressed the switch, and it turned on the switch. A secret room opened quietly. Inside is actually an altar dedicated to Crackstone. She stepped forward to touch the candle and found that the candle was still warm. Wed sent Tyler to inspect the ground floor. She and Enid went up to check together. They found a bedroom. The beds are clean and free of cobwebs. There are also yellow roses on the table, which is the kind of flower that the psychology teacher takes. There was still a music box on the table at the end of the bed. It has the letters LG written on it. It is the initials of Garrett's sister Laurelgate. At this time they heard the sound of breaking things. The two immediately got up and left. Then came Tyler's cry from downstairs. And the shadow of the monster is at the stairs. The two hid in the elevator in an emergency. They closed the little door to keep the monster out. But the monster clearly refused to give up. It scratched through the iron door with its claws. The monster looked at Wednesday through the gap. Suddenly the rope of the lifting frame broke. The two quickly descended to the basement. The shelves in the basement were filled with formalin-soaked corpses and the loot collected by the monsters. The wooden planks above their heads fluctuated violently. And it was the monster chasing them. They immediately escaped through the rear window. She ran back to find Tyler. Luckily Tyler was only injured. And Xavier also hurried to the scene. Wednesday suspected Xavier did it. They came to Tyler's house to wait for the sheriff. Wednesday then took the sheriff to the basement of the old house. But the shelves are empty. The sheriff reprimanded Wednesday for putting friends in danger. He wouldn't allow Wednesday to be near Tyler again. Went back to the dorm dejectedly. She saw Enid packing up to move to another dormitory. She's mad at Wednesday's lies. Clever Wednesday can't handle human emotions. But she felt a little lost. She sat on the floor and fiddled with the music box. Some photos fell out of it. These are basically candid photos of Wednesday. Wednesday seems to be getting closer to the truth. And last night someone sneaked into the hospital and removed the mayor's breathing tube. Most of the town's residents came to attend the mayor's funeral. Wednesday knew the killer was among them. After the funeral, she found someone hiding behind a tree. She immediately chased after him. She has been chasing deep into the woods. It turned out to be her favorite Uncle Fester. The two went to the bee farm together. Wednesday came up with a portrait of the monster. Her uncle actually knew the monster and called it Hyde. Its related records are included in Faulkner's diary. They made an appointment to sneak into the Night Shadow Library this evening. But when the appointed time came, the uncle did not show up. Instead, Xavier is here. Wednesday has always suspected that Xavier is related to the monster. Because he always appeared before and after the monster appeared. Wednesday's attitude made Xavier angry. He left the library immediately. Then the uncle appeared. He inquired about his niece's gossip like a thief. But things suddenly rushed out and grabbed him by the neck. They had had conflicts before when they worked together on cases. Wednesday called a stop to the farce of the two. Ask uncle to find the diary with her. The secret is hidden behind Iggy's portrait. Thing quickly unlocked the combination lock. They took the diary back to the dormitory for translation. Sure enough, she found records related to monsters in it. This monster was born due to mutation and has been in a dormant state. It is awakened by traumatic events, either by chemical induction or by hypnosis to break the seal. If it is a chemical induction method, the monster will regard the rescuer as its master. In other words, the real culprit is the person behind the monster. The next day, Wednesday first went to the prime suspect, Xavier. She puts a tracker on Xavier. Uncle stole a motorcycle with a cow pattern. He drove Wednesday to track down Xavier. They saw the psychiatrist meeting with Xavier. He was telling the doctor that he had a dream last night that she died. She immediately went to the principal to find out about the psychologist. Unexpectedly, the doctor was also in the principal's office. Wednesday can only leave first. She went to the coffee shop with her uncle to discuss. Wednesday deduces that the psychiatrist is Xavier's master. After discovering Xavier's monster identity, she hypnotizes him to wake him up. At this moment Tyler, who had been watching secretly, came over. He saw the picture of the monster in the diary. After Wednesday's briefing on the monster, the sheriff walked into the cafe. He was angry that his son was with Wednesday again. But he still has work to do. He pulls out some pictures of bank robbers, and he arranges for Tyler to post them everywhere. The person in the photo doesn't show his face. But it looks like Wednesday's uncle. But Tyler didn't tell Dad. Instead, he took the opportunity to invite Wednesday to meet in the evening. Wednesday felt guilty about Tyler getting hurt. So she said yes. In the evening, the two agreed to meet in Crackstone's crypt. Tyler arranges the venue carefully. He wants to invite Wednesday to a movie, and officially confessed to her. But the patrolling sheriff interrupted their kiss. The sheriff knew at a glance that the son was dating. He left helplessly. When she returned to the dormitory, she found that the floor was in a mess. The diary has disappeared. Thing is dagger driven into the wall. She rescued him immediately. Then she immediately went to her uncle. She gave Thing first aid. Wednesday has been fighting back tears. But fortunately Thing is strong enough to get through the storm successfully. It's a pity Thing didn't see who the murderer was. But Wednesday said she would definitely avenge Thing. Wednesday reminded her uncle in passing that the sheriff already knew you were in town. Advise him that it would be best to leave town tomorrow morning. Then she went to the principal. She said someone ransacked her dorm. And the headmaster actually knew about that diary. She also knew the identity of the monster. The principal said Faulkner had been studying monsters. They want to find out if the monster is conscious when it kills. But before finding out, Faulkner was killed by the monster. So 30 years ago the school banned studying monsters again. She cannot divulge knowledge of monsters. Because this will aggravate the town residents' dissatisfaction with the heterogeneous schools. Wednesday doesn't care about that. She doesn't care about school or reputation. All she wants is the truth. So she left immediately. The next day, Bianca found Wednesday. Said that she had clues about the murder of the mayor. The two went to the library together. The mayor's son took out a document. He copied it from his dad's computer. The information shows that the mayor has been tracking the whereabouts of Garrett's sister Laurel since the outreach day. He must have seen Laurel in person on the day of the event. She is not dead. If Wednesday's guess is correct, the psychiatrist is Laurel. She wants to manipulate the monster to avenge her family. She would definitely hurt Nevermore College. Wednesday took the music box to face-to-face confrontation. She left the doctor speechless. Then he left coolly. The psychiatrist immediately called the principal. Said that Wednesday went to her office to make trouble. Then there was a noise from the bathroom. She walked over cautiously and opened the door, and she was instantly killed by the monster inside. Wednesday can only go to the studio to find Xavier. She still holds the dagger that hurt Thing in her hand. She asked Xavier why he wanted to see a psychiatrist. Xavier said he was just going to see a doctor. She directly opened the easel, and the painting was exactly the scene of the doctor being killed. And Rowan, Eugene, and the doctor's things are all in Xavier's studio. Xavier hurriedly explained that someone must have framed him. At this time, the sheriff who was in ambush rushed in immediately. And he arrested Xavier. Then she went back to the dorm and Enid moved back. Enid said she was worried about Wednesday after Thing was attacked. She offered to shake hands with Enid to make peace. Enid being the queen of gossip, she learned the secret of Wednesday's date with Tyler. Wednesday said that the date had been messed up by the sheriff. Enid asked her to take the initiative to go back to Tyler. Wednesday actually went to the coffee shop. And she took the initiative to kiss Tyler. Unexpectedly, the picture of Tyler killing people flashed immediately. It turned out that he was the monster Hyde. She ran away quickly. It turns out that the first love boy is a serial killer. When she calmed down and asked Tyler again, she immediately questioned him directly. The first was her first monster encounter on outreach day, and she had told Tyler where she was before she set off. Then came prom day, and Tyler also knew she was going to the cave with Eugene. So Tyler told the doctor to let her burn the cave down. Then he goes after Eugene and hurts Eugene. In the end, the old house was in distress, and Tyler deliberately hurt himself to cover up the truth. Wednesday questioned Tyler why he hurt the host doctor. Then she called the helpers out. Bianca uses the power of the siren to trap him. They bring Tyler to the studio. As soon as Tyler woke up, Wednesday took out a group photo of the fencing club. At first her attention was drawn to her mother. She didn't realize that there was Tyler's mom in the corner of the photo. The sheriff's wife turned out to be a different kind. Based on information things stole from the sheriff's house, she can learn that Tyler's mother's postpartum depression triggered the transformation. In this way she exposed the monster's attributes, and she passed this power to Tyler. Wednesday was going to force out Tyler's monster real body. She immediately took the tools out of her bag, and only pain could transform the monster. She hits Tyler with a taser. The other students withdrew one after another in fear of making a big fuss. They reported it to the principal immediately. The principal notifies Tyler's sheriff dad. The sheriff rushed to the scene quickly. She stopped Wednesday, who was about to hurt Tyler. The sheriff did not charge Wednesday. This is obviously to cover up the son's identity as a monster. By now Tyler wasn't being reserved either. He stood in front of Wednesday when no one was around, and he asked Wednesday how it felt to lose. At present, there is no evidence on Wednesday. She could only go back with the principal first. The principal didn't listen to Wednesday's explanation at all, and she decided to expel Wednesday immediately. She has to leave school early tomorrow morning. Wednesday just wants to prove that Tyler is a monster as soon as possible. She had to go to Xavier again. Thing helped the two get time to meet. Wednesday said she got the truth because of the kiss. It was Tyler who deliberately put physical evidence in the studio to frame him. She wanted to ask Xavier if he had a dream recently. She wants to find some clues. This hurt Xavier, because she only goes to him when she needs help. Xavier blamed Wednesday for always hurting those around him. Wednesday was immediately scolded by him. The next day she packed her luggage, and Enid said goodbye to her sadly. She promised to help Wednesday spy on Tyler. The others came to say goodbye. Before leaving, she begged the principal to allow her to visit Eugene. Eugene finally woke up. She uttered an astonishing truth. He said whoever burned the cave that night wore red boots. In Wednesday's impression, only the botany teacher often wears red boots. She's the one who's always been kind to Wednesday. It turned out that Wednesday got it wrong in the first place. She immediately went back to school and confronted the botany teacher, who Wednesday asked if she was Laurel. The teacher refused to admit this identity. At this time, Wednesday had no choice but to call out Tyler. Wednesday's analysis said, the teacher did not use hypnosis to wake up the monster. Rather, it was chemicals that Laurel extracted from plants. Laurel took advantage of Tyler's mother's death to get close to Tyler. Then told Tyler that his mother was an outlier, and she incited Tyler to become hostile to the school. She took the opportunity to put Tyler in a cave and wake up the monster for him. In this way Laurel managed to make Tyler his slave. Laurel takes off his glasses. She orders Tyler to kill Wednesday, because it is impossible for the monster Hyde to disobey the master's order. What's more, Tyler has long been blinded by hatred. However, the person in front of her is not Tyler, but principal pretending to be. The teacher immediately took out a needle and stuck it into the principal's body, and the principal fell to the ground and died on the spot. Wednesday recognized nightshade poison. As Wednesday was about to turn around, she was knocked unconscious by Laurel. Thing saw it all from the shadows. He hurried to find Enid, who was on the phone with Eugene. After Enid listened to things' description, she didn't have time to explain anything, so she set off with her boyfriend to save Wednesday. Eugene guessed that the situation was serious, and he was also going to save Wednesday. At this point, Wednesday was locked in the cave. Laurel said her own ancestor was Crackstone. They have always had a deep aversion to aliens. She asked Tyler to collect body parts in order to revive Crackstone. And Goody's dark book is also in Laurel's hands. Wednesday's ancestors sealed the Crackstone in the sarcophagus with their blood. Only their relatives can open it. This is the fundamental reason why Laurel caught Wednesday. She forcibly placed Wednesday's scratched hand on top of the sarcophagus. Then she reads a spell with the Book of Darkness. At this time, the corpses on the ground began to glow. In an instant, there was lightning and thunder. The radio waves emitted from the sarcophagus lead to the corpse. A large amount of spray then escaped from it, and in an ominous mist, Crackstone was successfully revived by Laurel. Laurel immediately stepped forward and kissed him on the hand. Crackstone immediately recognized Wednesday as Goody's offspring. He stabbed Wednesday in the stomach with a dagger. As he was about to leave, Goody finally appeared. She ordered Wednesday to pierce Crackstone's heart. Wednesday said, "I was dead." Goody said the necklace Wednesday's mother gave her was a talisman. It can cure Wednesday. Goody turned into a white mist and disappeared. Sure enough, Wednesday was back to normal. The sheriff also came here to track down his son. Bianca was entrusted by Enid. She was responsible for evacuating the students. Enid and Thing rushed to the cave. On the way, she turned into a werewolf because of the blood moon. The howling of wolves went all the way to Wednesday. She was stopped by Tyler. Tyler turned into a hide monster and choked Wednesday. At the critical moment, Enid arrived quickly. She stayed to delay the monster's time. Wednesday quickly ran back to school. But Enid is no match for Hyde. Fortunately, the sheriff arrived in time and shot to stop Tyler. The werewolf took the opportunity to attack and beat him back to his original form. Then she herself exhausted her energy and returned to her human form. At this time, the school is as prophesied. The fire is coming. Picking up the sword her mother used back then, Wednesday walked up to Crackstone. Before she could make a move, Xavier shot an arrow. The thing set him free. But with a wave of Crackstone's hand, the arrow turned immediately. And Wednesday stepped forward to block the arrow. She asked Xavier to save the other students. Then she drew the arrow. Wednesday picked up the sword again and stabbed Crackstone. And the two had a fierce duel. But Crackstone was so powerful that he easily broke Wednesday's sword. He raised his magic barrier to shake Wednesday. At the critical moment, Banica attacked Crackstone from behind. She was immediately sent flying. Wednesday took the opportunity to grab the broken sword and stab Crackstone in the heart. He was instantly reduced to ashes. Laurel had her gun ready to shoot Wednesday. Just when she thought she was sure of winning, Eugene directed a large number of bees to pounce on her. A swarm of bees surrounded Laurel. Wednesday put one foot on Laurel. Finally, the campus returned to peace. Enid hugged Wednesday, and